Okay, we have our last presentation for today. Have you enjoyed today? Have you really enjoyed it though? Like really enjoyed it. It's been good. Great job putting this thing together to Ken and his team. This is what it's about, networking in the room, high-level stuff about finances, high-level stuff about investing, taking action, getting around people that you need to be around, getting around people that are doing better than you. While we're doing that and we're building our path and we're building our wealth and we're buying houses, we're flipping them, we're holding on to them, we're doing burrs, we're doing all this work, there's a few things that have to happen along the way. You can't just go shooting from the knee or shooting from the hip, whatever the saying is, throwing together walls and, our value is zero, not using poly, the home isn't environmentally friendly, it's not sustainable, all of those things. When I say that, one person comes to mind that has held Canada to a higher level for construction. Who do you think I'm going to say that's going to be? Mike Holmes. He's been in all of our homes. I've watched him growing up as a kid. He says it exactly the way it needs to be said. Things that we're thinking, but no one's saying it. Mike has done this year after year, time after time. He has held us all accountable to our construction standards. Not only has he held us accountable to our standards, as the industry has changed, meaning more use of solar, higher R value, better construction systems, Mike has held us and taught us from our homes, from online, from all of his platforms that we need to do the exact same thing. We need to follow those standards. Otherwise, we're just building wealth, but we're not doing it correctly. We're not helping people. If you're putting structures together and they're shit, for lack of a better term, that's not how we got to do this. You hear us talk about building and adding to our net worth and doing all these things. We need to be held accountable to a certain standard. And Mike has given us that standard for years. I am grateful myself. Is anybody else grateful that this guy took it upon himself years ago to lead the industry, keeping us accountable? Yeah, I got to tell you, utmost respect for that. Not only that, he's also a boater, which I have a personal tie to, and I know Ken does as well. Put your hands, get out of your seat. Let's put our hands together. Let's welcome the one that holds us accountable in the industry, Mike Holmes.
I need Holmes to make it. I was backstage. How you doing, everyone? I'm backstage and I'm hearing this and I'm thinking, wow, that guy's really got some stuff done. I guess that's me. I bought my first house. I think it was 1985. It was about $163,000. I was scared. I'm just looking for kids. I was scared shitless, to be honest with you, I really was. What was my goal? My goal was to buy that house, fix it up. Amanda was almost born when I bought this house, my first daughter. Fix it up, make some money, sell it, do it again, and keep going. But all of a sudden, who remembers what happened in the later 80s? It was a recession, and the interest rates went 14, 18%. Kind of like now, but nowhere near that number. So, what did I do? I fixed the house up quick, I sold the house, I got out and I started renting. It scared me. I stayed out of the real estate game. It actually scared me. What I should have done was stayed in it. That's what I should have done, because real estate always makes money. I knew at the time a lot of real estate agents at that time that bought house after house because their goal was to buy low, rent it, and then sell the house. A lot of them at that time actually went bankrupt. That was a really tough time. And one thing it did was teach me how to do it better the next time. That's what it taught me. So on goes the show. Who's still watching the show by chance? You still watching the show? You know I'm still filming, right? 24 years later, I'm still filming. That's a long time to be on TV. I told them at the beginning, I'll give you 2 years. I'm a busy man. 24 years later, you know what? They won't let me go. Is that your fault? They won't let me go. So I film for the US, HG in the US. I film for Canada. I film for the world because the show's around the world. During the show, Marcin, my plumber, this would be about 12 years ago, he started that investment game. He met a real estate woman. She was really smart. She owned about 50 houses at the time that he met her. and he started to buy houses to rent. And I remember when he was about 50 houses in, I said, Marcin, you got to be careful, man. I told him the story when I was younger. What happened to the real estate agents? You got to be careful. You got to be careful. What happened? The houses went through the roof. He made millions and millions of dollars. And I thought, what am I doing wrong? That's what I should have done. I go to Georgetown, because I don't live far from Georgetown. I go into Georgetown, and I think the houses at the time were about $300,000. I saw a house, I looked at it, I'm my own worst enemy. I walked in, there is an oil tank in the ground, the place has probably got asbestos, and I know there's problems. $330,000 they wanted for the house. So what do I tell myself? Nope, it's gonna cost me probably $200,000, $250,000 minimum to fix it, sell it, and make money on it. I don't. 10 years later, I'm not kidding, that house is worth $1 million. People bought it, and this is what I'm learning. People bought it, they never fixed it. They didn't do what I would do and fix that house, but they bought the house. Now it's what, 1.3 million? You gotta be kidding me. What has happened? And I missed the boat. Speaking about boats, I missed the boat. But I didn't. I mean, I invested in, you saw probably on the show, I bought a marina out in Gananoque. It was a piece of crap. I ended up taking it down. I built a new one. Live, work, play was the theory. I still own it. Then I bought a small resort because I thought, I think I bought this somewhere around the beginning of COVID. And I was afraid of that. That's 6 cabins in a house. I was afraid of that. COVID actually filled it. So I did good on that. I bought buildings. I bought a house for my brother to live in. Yes, I bought a house for my brother to live in. When it was on a high, I told my brother, I'll give you 50 grand, I'll sell the house, and you go on your way. And he was not happy about that at all. He wants to stay in the house, so it looks like I'm going to end up having the house until he dies or I die, one or the other. So I didn't do bad, but I didn't do what Marcin did. His name is Marcin. We called him Martin, but his real name is Marcin. Like I said, the very last time I talked to him, he had 50 plus houses. I don't know what he has now. He's not the plumber on the show anymore. I miss the guy. He's a good guy, but he continued to go on and be successful in what he's doing. So today, is it wise to buy houses? Yes or no? Yes. It's always going to be wise to buy houses. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, and I probably should have bought about 10 houses in Georgetown when they were around $300,000, because then I'd have how much money? Boatloads, yeah. That's the problem with a boat. They actually do bring on another $1,000. That is such a true statement. I just sold my boat, by the way. It's a total accident. I love my boat. It's a C52, a Carver Flybridge. It was a big boat. And I had it for 6 years. I loved it, I tell you, because it was my getaway, right, from my crazy life that I live, working all the time. And someone heard that I would sell it if I got what I wanted. And just by fluke, the guy came up and said, okay, I'll give you what you want. And I'm like, oh, shit, I guess I got to sell my boat. So I sold my boat. Right now, I'm just going to take a break, keep doing what I'm doing, travel a little bit more. Something I did invest in was a wine importing company from Italy. And we bring in the best red wine. I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to sell it to you. I'm just telling you. And the reason I did this was because during COVID, I met a bunch of people. I call it the Italian mafia lunch. Meanwhile, only 3 of them were Italian. The rest of them, Portuguese and me, right? So we used to sit in a restaurant. Once a week we'd go there when you weren't supposed to. Yes, I'm admitting we weren't supposed to, but damn COVID. We went to the restaurant, we'd have a meeting once a week, and we'd talk about business, and we would drink beautiful red wine, which then all of a sudden opened up the door to possibly being a partner in the wine company. So I bought in. Now what am I doing? Holy cow. Probably 4 months later, we bought 2 restaurants in Oakville. Anyone live in Oakville? 7 in Oteca and Hexagon. Hexagon just got a Michelin star. Wow. If you want to lose money, buy a restaurant. What the hell was I thinking? But the idea was the wine. The wine could sell in the restaurants. My whole goal is, the last 3 years, I've been flying back and forth to Italy because I'm trying to find the best vineyards, the best wine, put the Holmes mark on it, and my signature. And I've found 9 different wines. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So soon you're probably going to see it. I don't know if it's going to be in the LCBO, but it doesn't matter. I'm doing this for fun because sometimes we all have to do something for fun, right? I'm not going to keep doing the show for the rest of my life because that would just be ludicrous. Although, I don't know. I don't know because they just keep making me do it. Again, it's probably your fault. I love teaching people. I love educating people. And that wonderful day that we give the house back is the reason I actually keep doing this. Because imagine what it's like. The new show now is Homes on Homes, Building a Legacy. So I'm really pushing my son and daughter in the show because I would love to actually get them to have their own show. I never did want to do that to them. The only reason I brought them on the show was so they could get a construction and they could learn from it, and they did, and they're very good at it now. Did I know that they were going to end up being incredible in front of the camera? Do you think they're incredible in front of the camera? They really are. Remember, in the show, there is no script, there's no nothing, it's real. It's probably the most real show on television, and that I do know, and I've been on a lot of fake shows, which I'll never be on again, because I don't like fake. We were talking about it backstage, and I won't mention that show. But anyways, I think they've got the opportunity. So Homes on Homes, Building a Legacy, what it did, I pushed back to the beginning when we first started Homes on Homes. That show was about wrecking the house, fixing the house, explaining the problems, and showing how to make it right. And Building a Legacy is, I guess, where we've come to now, and trying to get my son and daughter to take over. That's my whole goal. Maybe I'll get Sherry to put her name on a white wine. What's this organic crap now? All the young, did you notice the young loves organic? They really do. And there's organic wines out there. So that made my mind think I can do this. My kids, did you know now I have almost 6 grandchildren? Let's see. I was a grandfather at the age of, my goodness, 46, 47. And it scared the hell out of me. I thought I was getting old. It happened fast. All of a sudden, it happened fast. Now, I'm 61 now, and I have 6, one more on the way. So 5 plus 1. My oldest daughter, Amanda, is marrying into a new family with 2 more, so that's going to make it 8. What the hell? Let's build a legacy. I told them, bring it on. Let's have a baseball team. We can do this. The more grandkids, the better. Besides, maybe they can take over the legacy and the wine and the restaurants. I don't think I want to stay in the restaurants, but I definitely want to stay in the wine because it's fun. It's nice. Who likes red wine? Who likes white wine? Who likes wine? And we'll call it wine not. But even though I'm not going to do that. So getting back into the houses, I know I went off track. I do that just because I'm just talking to you. It's like we're friends, right? Does anyone need me to come to their house by chance? You do? I may have some time next year. I'm not quite sure. We shoot 2 shows at a time, and I think I was my own worst enemy again when I started this because I became the producer. I'm the contractor and the producer, and that's how the show really went. And of course, filming, I have to make it really smart. It's like, okay, so we're going to film 2 houses at a time. We're going to film all the time, full-time production, full-time construction. And the one thing I forgot is that, I'm not going to get any holidays. This is not a smart move. I don't get any time off. And this was hard for years. We did this for years. So trying to squeeze in the time to get to Italy or Spain and look at some wine is really important. I'm trying to do more of that right now. And push more on my kids. Guys, you can do it, right? Do I got to be here every day? And apparently I do. But I think it's working in that direction, and I'm really happy about that. Getting back to the houses, you know, I didn't like that the government or the banks put the interest rates up. I thought it was a very stupid move, and I thought they're going to put us in a recession. And we're like this hairline in a recession right now. And I hope the interest rates continue to go down so it doesn't do what the repeat it did in the 80s and everyone going bankrupt and losing everything. I think that went too far then, and I hope they fix it right now. The good news is the interest rates are not 12, 14, or 18%. They are still affordable to buy a house. So, in a house, let's get into some of the things that I do talk about and do love. Do you know the one thing that everyone should have in a house? Let's talk about this. For safety, for kids. What's in the air right now? Can anyone see what's in the air? Looks pretty clean, doesn't it? Well, we know there's radon in the air. My God, there's so much dust off our skin in the air, you can't see it. There's so much in the air. What's the number one thing we should put in our house right now? For safety, air filtration, an air filter. But go buy an air filter system and put it in your house. Put it in your furnace. Turn them on. That's the one most important thing. My son bought a house up in Meaford with his wife, Lisa, and it was about a year and 2 months ago that this happened. She was pregnant, and all of a sudden, she couldn't breathe. She says, I think something's wrong with the house. She calls me Big Mike. My son is 6'4", and he's bigger than me, but I'm Big Mike. He's a big boy. Right away, I went out and I bought 2 air cleaners, 1,000 square feet for each air cleaner. I said, put one downstairs, put one upstairs, and that should help you. So it did help her, and then 2 weeks later, she was even worse. So fearing for the newborn, I sent up Mike Holmes inspections. I said, do an air test right away. They do an air test, and there's 4 times the mold spores in the house than accepted. So right away, what did I tell you, Mike? I told my son, the house is 1873. It's an old home. It's been played with. It's been manipulated over the years. I said, if you buy this house, don't work on it. It's a takedown. And this is my advice to him. He loved it. It's 2.5 acres. He bought the house. So a year and 2 months ago, I send the cameras up, and we go up, and because he's like, Dad, can you help? So I go up, and we rip apart the house. And I'm telling you, I knew it. I shouldn't have done it. The house had to come down. I said, I told you, Mike. So we're now actually still filming this and trying to help him set up a new home. The house has got to come down. He's going to get a new house. And let's talk about what would you do if you were to build a new house right now. Let's play. What would you do? Your house is too big. You'd probably make it smaller. Okay. Would you build for tomorrow, or would you build today? Where do you live? East Georgetown. So you're my neighbor. Do you know where I live? Okay. I was going to say, don't tell anyone. That's the problem. When people start to know where you live, trust me, everyone, they're like, people come to my mailbox on my property at 10 acres, and they put a letter in. What do you think's in the letter? Please come help me. Please come help me. What I'm asking is more about, okay, Burlington flooded like crazy. Mississauga flooded like crazy in that last big rainstorm. Toronto flooded like crazy. I'm filming a house right now in Burlington because at the time you were allowed to put the garage down low. Do you remember how you do that, and the driveway goes down into the garage? Brilliant. I think that's stupid. Water runs downhill, and here's what happened. They had a door inside the garage to go down the stairs to the basement. So everyone wants a door from the garage to the house, right? The garage filled with 3 feet of water in 2 hours. And 3 feet went to the stairs. And when it went to the stairs, it became 6. Blew the door open. Tidal wave came in, knocked out the furnace, the washer and dryer. Literally, it bulldozed everything over. So how does Mike fix this? Because this is all about, I need to fix this. We seal off the door to the basement. You're going to have to watch the show. We seal off the door to the basement. We put in 2 sump pumps, one in the basement, because once you do a new basement, you get a permit. You have to put in a sump pump, pull out all the weepers from the sewage line and put it in a sump pump. It's code. Put the second sump pump in the garage, and we put a trench drain in front of it. Now we're going to epoxy it 4 feet up the wall, across the floor, all like this, and it's going to become a bathtub if ever the sump pump fails. Now, shouldn't have been built like that, right? Wasn't really thinking ahead, and that's my point, is that we're not really thinking ahead. We still think about today. Do we think we're going to get more rain like that? The answer is absolutely yes. We're now experiencing tornado warnings. Do you remember that as kids by chance? I don't remember any tornado warnings as kids. So, are we building for tornadoes? No. We're not building for floods. I tell everyone when you're buying a house, I say buy it right. Don't buy a house at the bottom of the hill, right? Never at the bottom of the hill. That house keeps selling and selling and selling because people are going to buy it. That's not. Buy the house at the top of the hill. Then you don't have to worry about floods. But getting back to building better, shouldn't we? I've said this a million times. I can make the house, heat it with a candle, cool it with an ice cube, most energy efficient ever. Who watched Holmes' Ultimate Garage? My son couldn't drive stick shift. It was really funny. I put him in my Mustang, and we pushed the car in the garage and made it look like he was driving. And of course, we showed it because I thought it was funny. That garage is a thermal broken garage. And I designed it as a home. It is a home for my cars, but I designed it as a home. And with that, so it's like an ICF. And ICF is insulated concrete form, but that's not what I use. This is an ICF block. And that block is R28 on its own because there's 4 inches of foam on the outside. It's on the inside of the block, but on the outside. Then we'd fill it with 60 MPa on the inside, put our rebar in, make it really strong. So it's super strong. It's made of recycled wood, which has a patent on it that will never mold. You can cut it with a regular circular saw, and you can drill right into it. It's half the weight of a cinder block. R28, STC. What does STC stand for? Anyone? Sound Transmission Class, STCs. On its own is a 52. And by the way, that happens to be approximately minimum code. Minimum code's 50 for sound. And that's in between apartments, which I don't agree with because they only have to meet that. Everything's minimum code. There's no maximum code. There's no Holmes code. It's not about code. It's about what we should be doing. So if on its own, it's got a high STC, it's got an R28, and I make it a superstructure because I put in 60 MPa backfill inside it. Even the inspector in the area said, what are you building, a bridge? It's the idea that I'm going to build something, and here's a great example. It's approximately 2,500 square feet. How big of a furnace would it take to heat 2,500 square feet? Anybody got an idea? Say it again. 150,000 BTUs, okay? That's the type of big furnace that you need to heat that space. Guess how many BTU heater I have in my garage? 9,000. So 9,000 BTUs heats that garage comfortably. I mean comfortably. It goes on and off. It doesn't stay on the whole time, where it should have 150,000 BTU. What does that tell you? It's incredibly efficient. It's strong. It's quiet. It's healthy. And we're not really focusing on doing this in our homes. I don't think so. I think we still buy by illusion. You know, it's always the husband and wife or boyfriend or girlfriend, doesn't matter. They go for the drive, we're gonna buy a new home, right? And you get excited because you like the neighborhood, you see that one house, you walk through it, and you buy by excitement. I love the house is great. Did you see the size of their master bedroom? You know, things like that. But what do I look for when I go to the house? That's why I didn't buy all these houses. I look for, how good is it? Has anyone stepped inside their attic to see how much insulation you have in your attic? Put your hand up. Way more than I expected. Okay, how much insulation should we have in the attic? R6. Oh, are you in the business? Are you a contractor? It's not minimum code, but that's what we should have, because you have to look at it as simple as this. A down-filled blanket on the bed will keep you, we keep our windows open every night. It's freezing in the frickin' room, but I love it, right? I do. But a down-filled blanket on the bed keeps you nice and warm, doesn't it? So the more if we actually put up, I don't know, 4 down-filled blankets on the bed, you'd probably be sweating and couldn't sleep well, right? Even 2 of them, it's just too much. But the roof of the house, what is stack effect? Anyone know what stack effect is? Simple science. Stack effect, let's go to an old wood-burning fireplace. That is how I can explain stack effect. Cool air drives low, hot air rises. Heat does not, hot air rises. So if cool air drives low, you go to light the fire, smoke is gonna come in because the cool air is coming down, right? As soon as you call it prime it, all you gotta do is hold the flame in there just to prime it, it will start pulling out, then you can light your wood. Now, as soon as you light your wood, it's pulling everything out of the house. That's why a wood-burning fireplace is not the most efficient heat source, but it's always nice to have if you want one. I would try to get a 98% efficiency rating if that's what you wanted. That's a closed unit, just doesn't matter. Stack effect is when it pulls all of the air out of the house. Now, when it pulls air, it can pull air that is needed for the furnace. It can pull so many different things. So that stack effect, now let's go back to your attic, because any hole in the ceiling whatsoever, if there's a hole, it creates a stack effect and pulls that heat into the attic. What does it do then, especially in the winter? Moisture. Hot meets cold, moisture. Molds all the attic. How many houses have you looked at? I know I've looked at it, that there's mold in the attic. That means they're losing too much heat inside the house into the attic space in the cold time, and it's causing mold. Is it horrible? No, it's not horrible because it doesn't affect the selling of the house. A lot of people may panic. That mold is not going to come in the house. It's an easy clean. How do we clean it? Very good. Someone said dry ice? Yes, we used to use something else, and now the guys will come in and just spray it with dry ice. It is contaminated. It is an area that you don't want to play in, but it is in a separate zone. It's not inside the house. So it's never bad that you buy a house. You might even get 10 grand off, on the offer just because of it, and you get it fixed. So that's kind of important to have a home inspection, isn't it? Has anyone hired a home inspector to inspect their homes? Thank you. Did you know I have Mike Holmes inspections? Have you used them? And do you like them? Do you like them? These guys, I'm not kidding you, they must have over 1,000 home inspections under their belt to become a Mike Holmes inspector. We pulled them out for 3 months, retrained them, every single one of them. Retrain them. They have to be licensed for their IR, which is infrared camera. They have to be licensed for air testing. So we put them through a whole program, and then they can go on their own. And I love this. We actually even started a school, I think it's in the United States, and it's doing so well, I can't believe it. And maybe I should open a school for construction. I don't know. It might be a nice retirement. Maybe I should. Anyhow, I didn't like it when the houses surged so high in price and nobody was putting in a condition for home inspection. I get it. I absolutely get it. You're not going to get the house if you put it in. Okay. But we can tell other people or tell them, or real estate agents can tell them, you can get a home inspection after you buy the house. Should you? Why? Check out the electrical, check out the plumbing, get information. Not everyone knows what I know in a house. Then you're going to hire a professional to give you great advice on that home. Then you at least know how much it's going to approximately cost to fix it and make you more comfortable, healthy, and safe in the house. Is there aluminum wiring? Is contamination? Is there knob and tube? Like my son's house. Poor guy. I'm telling you, he's literally crying all the time right now. Still not in the house. The one thing I told him 1.2 years ago, I said, Mike, the one thing you're not going to believe is how long this is going to take. Because we have to do plans, you have to do it through the city, everything's got to get passed, then you have to do permits to take the house down, the gas has got to be shut off. He's waiting 2 months for the gas company to come in and shut it off outside so they can take the house down. So he still hasn't got it. He's going to get the house. I'm going to say he'll be in it around February, which is finally, it's going to make his day, but Dad's got to help him. That's okay. He's my son. I'm going to make him work a little harder this time. You're going to have to work, Mike. I'm telling you, you're going to have to work. What did I do? Homes Improved Homes. Have you ever heard of these? The whole idea was approximately 18 years ago, I started Mike Holmes Inspections, and it wasn't really just to do inspections. It was to help people. It was to give the right advice, to find the best builders, and Mike Holmes Inspections was the third-party verification that the home was built properly. And this was really important to me. And anyone they could hire Mike Holmes Inspections or even another inspection company to oversee a build, which I think is always wise. If you don't know enough about the build, you can't hire me because I'm building too many houses and working on too many families right now. I don't have the time to do that. But there's people out there you can to make sure that your home is done right. So what is one of the best? Okay, does anyone know the difference between a thermal barrier and a thermal break? It doesn't allow hot to meet cold, number one. And what's a thermal barrier? So a thermal barrier is minimum code of batt insulation and vapor barrier on the warm side. What is wrong with a thermal barrier? Minimum code. What is wrong with that? What did we talk about the thermal break? Hot doesn't meet cold. It doesn't stop hot from meeting cold. So even on a cold, cold day, that cool air wants to drive inside the walls of your home. The vapor barrier is on the inside. In the States, they put the vapor barrier on the outside, or they don't use vapor barrier at all. Everyone's wrong. I'm sorry. That's not the way to do this. We need to insulate from the outside of the house. And people, I swear, just like I did on the garage, just like we do when we add 2.5 inches of foam on the outside of your house and do foam and stucco. It's the smartest way you can insulate if you don't want to completely gut your home and redo it. You see us use the 2-pound spray foam, not the half-pound. What's the difference between half-pound spray foam and 2-pound spray foam? A pound and a half. That was good. I have fun doing this. A half-pound spray foam is open cell. A closed cell is 2 pound. So what sounds better? So open cell spray foam means it'll still allows air in and out, and we don't want that. It's only a fraction better than a thermal barrier, which is minimum code. So always do the 2 pound. I don't even know why the spray foam companies keep using the half pound. I guess it's for the people that don't want to spend the extra dollar to do it right, which makes no sense to me. So when I look at the glass, simple science in the wall of your home on a thermal barrier, glass of ice, put the water in the cup, what happens? Within seconds, the outside of it condensates on the outside of the glass. Isn't that an amazing science? That glass is way thicker than the vapor barrier on the wall in the house. So it's the best example I can give you in a thermal barrier, bad insulation, vapor barrier on your home, of the moisture that goes in there. And you ever see on the show when we open the place up and I point out dark insulation? And what do I say when it's dark? It's dirty. Why is it dirty? Because of the air movement. The vapor barrier is never going to stop all of the air movement. It can't. It gets pierced by drywall screws. It doesn't matter. It's never perfect. It's not the way to do it. Again, it's minimum code. It's pulling that dirty air from the house, and you don't even know it. It's just like the filter. It's pulling that dirty air into the insulation or vice versa from outside and into the insulation. It means we have air leakage, which is no good. That's why we want to do 60. I want to see at least 3 feet of blown-in cellulose into the attic. But I tell people, if you're building or you're renovating, here's what I tell them. You drywall the ceiling first of the attic space. Go in, the 2 pound spray foam, spray 1 inch, we'll call it a butter coat. 1 inch, 1 inch. Completely seals it airtight, 3 feet of blown-in cellulose. If you do that, you won't believe how much money you will save all the time. I tell people, if you don't like the amount of insulation in your attic, call up the company, the same companies. One of them is, Great Northern, I believe it is. They'll come in, they'll vacuum out all of your insulation, they'll butter coat it 1 inch, and then they'll put in 3 feet, and you won't believe how much money you save. We're only cold because our hot air is leaving the house. I just built an addition on my home. It's 720 square feet. I call it a 3-season sunroom, and there's a reason it's called a 3-season sunroom. If I did a 4-season sunroom, and I'm going to tell you the difference. If I did a 4-season sunroom, then I have to change, because I'm on 10 acres, I have a septic, I have a well, then I have to change the septic tank and do a new weeping field. Code. It's the way the government enforces for you to update your septic system. There's nothing wrong with my septic tank. So I did a 3-season sunroom, but I built it with ICFs. So insulated concrete form, 2.5 inches on each side of it, rebar, concrete filled. Then I did 2 inches extra on the outside, foam and stucco finish to match the house, to make the look. Right now, I put in a radiant floor heat. That radiant floor heat works off a tankless hot water heater. So turns on probably even now, once a day, just once. Runs the hot water through it, boom, heats it right up, turns off. I can't believe how energy efficient it is. It is unbelievable. I highly recommend hydronic heating. I really do. Or even a split pump. What's a split pump? Anyone want to know what a split pump is? Heat pump. Okay, same thing, but it's close. Split is it's air conditioning, and heat. They're incredibly efficient, and the reason we don't really use them a lot is because we use a furnace in our home. And everyone, I want you to have a furnace because that helps clean the air. So even if you didn't, you could put in a ERV, right? There are some houses that don't have furnace in there, but you put in an ERV, it's an energy recovery ventilation system. It is all about clean air. It runs 10% continuous, pulling in fresh air, pulling out stale air inside your home. I love the way we've set up my home. I practice what I preach, and I try to get everyone out there to do the same thing. Does anyone want to get into a play game here? Do you have any questions you want to talk to me? Does anyone have a question? See, there is a little one here. I swore earlier. That's not good. I apologize. I apologize. You have a question? Tell me your name.
My name is Frederick Kokai. I do high-end homes in Quebec. We're looking at putting in geothermal because there's gigantic subsidies right now in Quebec for that. They're paying over 80% of the install. I want to know your opinion on that. We're going to do water to water, so or glycol.
And yes, so it's a glycol mixture with the water.
Yeah, exactly. We're in a very cold climate, so it gets to -40 at some times during the year.
How do you heat your home?
We're going to be heating it with the glycol electric heater.
But so electric heaters existing right now?
No, it's brand new build.
It's a brand new build, so furnace.
So it's going to be geothermal.
Oh, I see. You're
Water.
building it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So water to water, geothermal, and then with a separate AC system, probably. Yeah, that's what we're looking at doing. Yeah.
Well, you could look at a split pump too, but I am a big fan of geothermal technology. Did you know a boat really does the same thing when
No.
it pulls the water in from the lake? It's the same idea. It pulls a temperatured water at, as an example, if the water is 70 degrees, it pulls that boat in and it doesn't have to cool it much. It doesn't have to heat it much. So that's the idea of geothermal technology. So everything from 6 feet down is 60 degrees approximately throughout the whole world, 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Now you're going to do vertical wells, correct?
Yeah, they're vertical wells. We got to do.
I prefer horizontal, but if you don't have the property to go horizontal, they'll drill maybe 3 to 6, depending on the.
It's going to be 400 foot. The system they want to put in is 8 tons.
Okay. So they're going to put in 400 foot wells, and what that's going to do is it's just going to continuously cycle that water glycol mix. It's going to make it 60 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to come into the furnace system, and it's going to easily heat it to 70, 72 degrees, whatever you're comfortable setting your thermostat at, and vice versa. It's amazing on cooling because it's already 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So that is something that I've always said it this way. I've said to the big builders out there, I go, guys, man, top 5 builders, they don't like me. You know that, right? They don't like me. I don't know why they don't like me, because I tell them they should be doing something. If you're going to build a community, why don't you do geothermal throughout the whole community and allow it at every house can use it? It's really easy for them to do because they're grading the whole property. They're tearing down all the trees. Like, it's easy to do. Why not do that? It makes sense to me. Hey, that's me. That's what I would be doing. So yes, I like it, and I want you to do it.
What about in a development? Like, we're looking at doing a townhouse development where all the owners own like the general property. So I mean, I feel like that if we were allowed having permitting to have that geothermal system that would heat all the different properties, that could be doable? Like
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I went to Edmonton. My company went into Edmonton. We worked with the government in Edmonton. At the time, Edmonton was about to open up the whole downtown. When I say open it up, they're ripping up all the roads. They were going to be replacing water, drainage. And we went in and we said, okay, we want to work with you. We want to create a new system where you run all the geothermal through the streets, no more plows, no more nothing. Everyone capitalizes. It now attaches and goes into every one of the buildings, and on top of it, we're going to introduce cogen. Cogen. What is cogen? Cogen is an essential, it's just a boiler, okay? It's just a boiler. It uses natural gas to boil the water, but here's the benefit. From boiling the water, you create electricity. From boiling the water, you create cooling. So what it does is it uses exactly 66.6% less energy to create all three. So even in a small community, you don't really have to use geothermal, but you can mix it with geothermal, put in a cogen, and create an actual substation just for heat, power, electricity. So all those houses, let's use an example, 100 houses have their own power. They don't have to pay from hydro. They don't have to get water. We did this where I wanted to take the water from the ground to approximately 1,200 homes. Take the water from the ground, use stormwater management control, which we have to do, which heavy rains, where the water goes, all the pits, and control this. Take all the water from the ground and clean it, both gray and black water, put it back to the ground cleaner than it came. And you know, this is going to be my 6th book. This build never happened, and I tell you, it's because of the government. I told them no, I wasn't going to give the city the drain from 1,200 houses. And they ignored us for 5 years. 5 years. Then I said, okay, I'll give you the drain to the frickin' people. Why did they want the drain running? They wanted to tax everyone on sewage. I had this done. Self-powered, self-sustained, water, absolutely everything. Self-sustained neighborhood. And why aren't we doing this? Now I know. Can't get taxes from it. They can get land taxes, but that's what they want. So this is a battle that even I can't win. Even I can't win it because I can't do it. I tell people we can do it. There'll be somewhere now in the world because I was trying to build the greenest community in the country of Canada, and they more or less stopped me. So I'm not going to do that anymore. What I'm going to do is make sure everyone's house is built better and hopefully teach people to build smarter. If you're going to renovate, build smarter. If you're going to buy smarter. Just nice and simple, right? Any other questions? Your name?
Wade. I'm from Calgary. I'm a journeyman carpenter. And are you concerned about this current labor shortage, and do you believe it will continue to trend? How do you think we can get young people like myself to be more involved in skilled trades again?
Okay. One thing that happened years ago was that anyone in the building industry like me didn't really want their kids to get hurt, cut, dirty. Don't do my job, go be an IT, work in computers. So they didn't really try and get their kids into the business. Do we have a shortage? Man, we have always had a shortage in the trades, always. I work with colleges across the country and have since the show began. And I'm trying to help them. I'm trying to help the government. You know what? When I was a kid, here's the biggest thing. In school, it was grades 6, 7, and 8. I was sheet metal class, wood class, electrical, welding. And the reason it was all taken, and I loved it, because my dad was a jack of all trades, master of none, but he was the reason I loved this. I didn't know I was going to be a contractor. I don't think we know what we're going to be when we're younger. But I was fascinated. I got 100% on everything when it came into shop. They pulled it out of school because kids were getting hurt. They're trying to make cutbacks. So there's no more temptation in the younger school. Kids now, if they want to get in the trades, they got to go to a college or a university after school to do so. And I hope they do. We need more incentive for the government to actually get the kids to go in. We really do. We really do. Something has happened recently that I really love. There is a massive increase of women in the trades. And I am so happy. When I see a woman electrician, welder, and I meet them, I'm the guy that gets the gold medals on their neck every two years for WorldSkills. And if you don't know about WorldSkills, I've been trying to make a television show. Does anyone know what WorldSkills is? Okay, it's all the schools. Let's say we'll start with Canada, and it is actually 60 countries, but let's start all with Canada. So anyone that's in the trades, they're young. It's like the Olympics. So every year they battle out in municipal, then federal, and then every 2 years is WorldSkills. And it's 60 countries, approximately 47 trades, and they battle for gold, silver, and bronze to be the best in the world. Why isn't this on TV? We put so much money into the Olympics, and this is just like the Olympics, because I tell you, every time I go, it is incredible to be part of WorldSkills. It's a rock show. It's all the countries. You got to see the different countries come in dancing. They have their own chants. They do their own thing because they're excited to be part of WorldSkills. And it's why isn't it on TV? I've been trying 10 years now to make a show out of this, and I'm telling you, before I die, I'm going to do this, because I think that's what's missing, is temptation. If kids get to watch this and get off their freaking games, and they get to watch this on TV, maybe that's some sort of inspiration to get in. Something that's always been incredible to me is seeing a young man like you, okay, come up to me and say, I got into trades because of you. I watched your show from 10 years old up, and I'm in the trades. And then I go, wow, okay, I am doing something right. I've made a difference in different kids' lives. That's a feel-good thing for me. It really is. It just is. It means that don't stop. But we need to encourage our kids. Do you know what welders are making? Do you have any idea how much these people make? Mechanics, we know, right? Because you don't want to pay them to fix your car. But we got to pay them to fix the car unless you could fix it yourself. But that's part of the trades. IT's part of the trades. Cooking is part of the trades. Serving is part of the trades. Did you know? Hair cutting is part of the trades. I think it's amazing. And I really think that if we could get this show out there, just like the Olympics, give it the attention of the Olympics, because it's like the Olympics. It's only not sports, it's trades. And it's amazing to watch. And when you get home, look up WorldSkills, and you'll see some of it, so you can do that. Get your kids into it. I think by that time that if I get to do that, then I've completed what I'm supposed to do on this planet. Maybe I'll go by an island and disappear. It'll be a very small island. I can't afford a big one. Trust me, I keep helping people that are in trouble. That's what I do. I would take the money from selling the shows around the world, because who the hell pays for this, right? I would take the money and help these people. I didn't think I'd be doing it for 24 years, but I'm still doing it. Anyways, who wants to go for a beer? Have you had a long day? A lot of speakers up here talking your ear off. Was it good? Did we learn something? Then that means you're sitting here in the right spot for all the right reasons. You're learning to make it right, maybe learning to buy it right, which I think is a great idea. Let's go get a beer. Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for Mr. Mike Holmes.